Now, which is those new mortgage rules, long awaited. They were released this evening by the central bank. Top line on this, you're going to need a 20% deposit for mortgages. One exception, first-time buyers. You can have a 10% deposit on the first €220,000 and then 20% on the balance after that, depending on the cost of the house. With us in studio is Karl Deeter, the financial advisor from Irish Mortgage Brokers. Karl, did they get a balance right here? Are you happy or not?
Happier than I would have been. I thought that perhaps there was a better solution. It's not a case of being with us or against us. Sometimes you can believe in something totally different. That's where I would have been. But if they were going to press ahead with it, I think the concession to first-time buyers below the level of 220,000 makes sense. And if you look at that figure, you know, if that represented 3.5 times income, what it means is you've got two people earning just below 32,000. So it means that people that aren't above average wage have a chance at home ownership. And one of the important things is that people's future wealth quite often is intrinsically tied to home ownership, and it's actually, studies have shown that in many cases it's a bigger determinant of your wealth than things like college education. So if you locked people out, that would be a mistake. I think this allows people to get started. And basically, as the loan gets bigger, you have to put more down, which was the case anyway with most banks, by the way, but now it just becomes more enshrined. Okay,
so the average price of a house in the capital, €350,000. People were facing, if 20% was applied to first-time buyers, they'd need to save 70 grand. Today's rules mean they would need to save 48 grand. What about other people? The couple who bought an apartment, maybe now have a child, they were looking to get up to a home, they are not first-time buyers. Was this a good evening for them?
Well, it doesn't affect them because people in negative equity and switcher mortgages aren't affected. And I think that's one of the good things, because there's a lot of lenders, for instance, who bought loan books and where they don't intend on staying here forever. And one of the things they want to do is sell those loans off quick. And the way you get away from that lender and get a big write-down is to get a mortgage somewhere else. So it'll actually help, by not including them, people to actually facilitate having less debt going forward.
Now, another thing in the rules, for an investment property, a buy-to-let, you will need 30% deposit. So on that example again that I gave, a €350,000 home in the capital, you would need 105,000 of a deposit. Is that to prevent the mistakes of the past?
Well, the investment market has a lot of cash. So, you know, the thing is, it's not at the moment a credit-based market, so I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference on it. It will certainly stop a lot of new entrants who might have enough to get involved but not deeply involved from coming in. If you look at the big investors coming in, though, a lot of them are real estate investment trusts, foreign companies buying up blocks of apartments, and on the ground even the Irish investors tend not to use a lot of mortgage credit so far. So I think that's just kind of future-proofing things. Typically, you weren't able to borrow high loan amounts on investment properties even during the boom. So that's not really a departure from where we were. The main thing was, I think, really is to look at the loan of the multiple of your income, which is staying as it was. And again, it's not too far off where things were anyway. But basically, the Department of Finance putting some manners on the central bank, which is what occurred because this concession has Department of Finance written all over it, I think was a good thing. I think there needed to be some balance. I thought the central bank got it wrong. And, you know, that somewhere in between was the right answer. We're a little bit closer to the right answer than the wrong answer.
Okay, Karl Deeter of Irish Mortgage Brokers. Thank you, Karl.
Thanks. The Graham Dwight